Hi, everyone. Welcome. This is Amy from Rise, and I am interviewing exceptional women in insurance because it's Women's History Month. So I am pleased to welcome today Jeanette Hernandez. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Amy.
Absolutely. So, can you tell for those who don't know what you do?
Sure, I am a CEO and founder of Claim Connect IQ, which is a digital marketplace for insurance professionals. But I have more than 30 years in the P&C industry in claims. I started as a claims adjuster a long, long time ago, and really worked my way up in each position and ultimately got to Chief Claims Officer before I left and started Claim Connect.
Awesome. Well, you've been very successful. Is there a moment in your career that you could attribute to your success?
I think one of the defining moments was early in my career. I was an AVP, and my boss at the time had asked me, what is your weakest point, or what do you want to work on? And I said, really, really understanding data and analytics. And no more than 4 months later, our claims financial officer had quit, and he said, "I'm going to put you in as interim." And I'm like, "But I don't know anything about that." He said, "Exactly. That's how you're going to learn." And
Wow.
that really did two things. It helped my peers to see me in a different way. How did I handle new challenges? But it really made me stretch myself and get over my own fears of things because you don't know something, it's okay. It's how you approach it and how you learn about it to further your career and educate yourself. And so I shocked myself, to be really honest. But it's amazing when you have support around you. I think that's really the critical part when you take on new challenges, is making sure you have both a professional and a personal infrastructure of people that you can rely on, because there's days everybody needs a shoulder, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds like you took kind of a leap of faith there, but you had the trust from your
Sometimes
leader.
you have no choice, right?
Yeah, definitely. So, can you talk actually about some of how you approach decision making and leadership?
Yeah, I've actually, the topic of leadership, John Maxwell and all the leadership books that are out there in the industry for us to read. Um, I really studied good leaders and bad leaders as I was going through my career journey, because I wanted to decide definitely what I didn't want to be, and then take the best quality of those leaders that I admired. And I think where I really got to, and it doesn't apply just to claims, but know your business well enough to know to get to the right butts and seats. It's really your team as a leader. And I used to tell my teams, my job is to clear roadblocks so you can be successful. So you hire smart people, you let them do their job, and you support them in every way that you can.
Yeah, that is excellent advice. So, because it's Women's History Month, just want to ask some questions kind of related to if you've encountered gender bias, in your career and maybe how you've overcome some of that.
Just a bit in 30 years, but that's an interesting question, because a few months ago I was with a couple of women in the industry, and someone had brought up the topic. Have you ever been in a meeting where it's mostly men, and you answer a question and the room is quiet, and 3 minutes later the man to the left of you almost verbatim gives the same answer that you gave, and everyone says, "That's a fabulous idea," but they don't hear you. And I think that even falls into some diversity, right? The diversity of thought, the diversity of who's speaking, and how you sit at the table when you want to be heard. But there's not a woman in the industry that hasn't faced that. And when I brought it up to some of my male counterparts, and literally pointed out in meetings, they're like, "I didn't even see it." And I said, "Because you're used to it, right? But we go through it every single day to make sure that our voice is heard, because a lot of times women look at problems and solutions very differently than their male peers do. And so I think we still struggle as an industry, for all voices to be heard, but that's definitely one that resonates, that unfortunately still happens.
Yeah, and we all have to look out for each other and say, okay, so it sounds just like what so and so said.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Well, you've had a very successful career, so just curious what advice you have for women who are getting into the insurance industry.
Mentorship, absolutely 100%. It's key. And like most things in life, it's who you know. And so doors get opened when people see you, when they know what your talent is. And I think in entering insurance, the earlier you start to network, because people sometimes see qualities in you that you don't see in yourself, and they might pull you along or elevate you in your career faster than you would do it by yourself. So mentorship and networking are really critical in starting out in our industry, because it's still a people business.
Absolutely. Great advice. Thank you so much for joining me. And shameless plug on the mentor. If you need help finding a mentor, Rise has a fabulous mentorship program that you can join. But thank you again, Jeanette. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Amy.
And for those of you watching, please follow Rise for more Women's History Month. Exceptional Women in Insurance, our series.